Hi everyone, this is Ryan Reagan, the founding partner of HKExcel. Welcome to the IB Student Show. So in this episode, I'm going to share with you 3 memory tricks and tips to dramatically improve your IB grade. Because in any IB test or IB exam, your memory is very important, right? Because unfortunately in IB, it's not open book, right? So when you go into an exam, you need to memorize definitions, you need to memorize explanations, you need to memorize theories. There's so much you need to remember in order to get a level 7 in an IB test or IB exam. So in this video, I'm going to teach you some tricks that you can improve your memory and basically remember faster. So before I go into the tips, I want you to realize this. Everyone have a tremendous potential to remember, right? There are some things in life that you can remember very well, but there are only some things that you can't remember, right? So for example, when I was a kid, I remember the names of hundreds and thousands of Pokemons. I was a Pokemon fan and I remember all of those names, but then I can't remember anything I learned in science. And I failed my science test, right? But the fact that I can remember all these Pokemon names just shows that I have a capacity to remember. It's just that the science subject in school didn't interest me, and so I didn't memorize. So this just shows you all of us have a tremendous potential to memorize things. It's just whether or not we use that potential. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to maximize your potential so that you can remember as much as possible for IB test and exam and score a very high score. The first tip I want to share with you is that whenever possible, try to understand a concept rather than rely on rote memory, right? So what do I mean by that? Rote memory is like memorizing a series of numbers. If I give you 20 numbers, okay, and I ask you to memorize it, you'll probably find it very difficult because numbers make no sense, right? There's no meaning behind all these numbers. You just force yourself to remember it, and that's very difficult. Whereas if something makes sense to you, it's like you don't even need to rely on your memory. It just makes sense, right? So this is often the case, for example, in subjects like economics, business, the sciences, because all of these subjects, when we talk about theories, theories actually make sense, right? Like it's reasonable. If you remember the cause and effect, then you don't even need to rely that much on your memory. It just makes sense to you. So for example, in economics, there's the law of demand, right? When the price goes up, the quantity demand decreases because people can afford less of it, right? That's common sense, right? So, but you can see when something makes sense, you don't even need to rely on your memory, right? So try to make sense of things, right? It's always easier, and that's what our IB experts do at HKExcel. We always try to explain to you concepts in a very easy way, in a very logical way, so you can understand the concept, and that will help you to remember. So let's move on to our second tip. There is this Confucius quote that says, "I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand." So doing something is the best way to really memorize it, to really understand it, right? So this is why I always recommend students, if you're preparing for some sort of test where you need to remember things, maybe economics, maybe biology, maybe chemistry, or history, it is always the best if you write full essays, right? Like write full answers before the test, write full answers to practice. When you write full answers, it forces you to remember, it helps you to understand because you're actively answering questions, you're actually actively engaged, okay? If you only read a textbook, you'll forget most of it, right? So you have to write and actually engage yourself in order to understand and master. Okay, let's go to the last tip. So there are some things that just don't make sense, right? That you need to force yourself to remember. So this occurs a lot in biology and chemistry. So for example, we know that what are the 5 phases of mitosis? There's interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. These are strange words, right? Now, how are you supposed to remember these names? So there are often tricks to help you, like acronyms. So for example, to remember the 5 stages of mitosis, you can use IPMAT. So if you just remember IPMAT, that will help you to memorize like the 5 phases of mitosis. It will help you to remember massively, right? IPMAT, right? So, and another example is, let's say for chemistry, you need to remember like different organic compounds, like if there's 1 carbon, we call it methane, 2 carbons ethane, 3 carbons propane. So how are you supposed to remember this? It's so easy to get mixed up. So there's this acronym called monkey eats peeled bananas, right? So that will help you to remember methane, ethane, propane, and butane, right? So acronyms always help. It's like a shortcut, mental shortcut, right? So this is the kind of stuff that we like to teach a lot at HKExcel, and so at our lesson, we'll teach you these tricks to help you to, increase your speed of learning. Okay, so I hope you find that this video is useful and hope to see you with us soon. So if you're interested to get help for IB, just book a trial lesson in the link in the description. And there are a lot of resources you can get as well. Okay, so see you next time.